Last time we saw how everything about the problem of suffering points to the truth of Christianity. A fallen world tells the Bible's story, the story of an original goodness that has been spoilt. Also in this series, we've seen how Jesus gives us the problem with suffering that we need. He allows us to call evil evil and to rage against it. What's more, Jesus gives us the solution to suffering that we all crave. He alone gives us a future for these bodies and this world. But now we get to the heart of the matter. How do we actually cope with suffering?
Here are two false responses. Firstly, Stoicism. To you or I, that means stiff upper lip.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.
A scratch? Your arm's off.
No, it isn't.
Well, what's that then?
I've heard worse.
A Stoic takes suffering in their stride and tries to live above it as much as they can. That's not the Bible's way. In the book of Psalms, there are 150 songs to be sung by the people of God in their various stages of life. And the most common category of psalm is lament. In these songs, God's people cry out, "God, what are you doing? Where are you? This is awful." The Bible doesn't counsel us to detach from suffering because God doesn't detach. He dives in.
Another false response is moralism. When bad things happen, our natural instinct is to figure out what went wrong or who went wrong. And often we can end up blaming ourselves or blaming the sufferer when we're meant to be comforting them. That was the response of Job's friends. Job lost his children, his wealth, and his health, and his three friends were meant to comfort him in his tragedy. To begin with, they do all right. For a week, they just sit with him and share the suffering in silence, but when they open their mouths, they prove themselves to be moralists.
Eliphaz says, "Who being innocent has ever perished? Where were the upright ever destroyed?" Bildad says, "When your children sinned against God, he gave them over to the penalty of their sin." Zophar says, "If you put away the sin that's in your hand and allow no evil to dwell in your tent, then, free of fault, you will lift up your face." With friends like these, who needs friends? Job complains in chapter 16, "You're miserable comforters, all of you." Moralists always are. Moralists tell you how you're to blame for falling into the pit, and now it's your job to climb back out again.
But Job knows another friend. At the end of Job 16, he says, "Even now my witness is in heaven, my advocate is on high, my intercessor is my friend, as my eyes pour out tears to God. On behalf of a man, he pleads with God as one pleads for a friend." Here are 4 titles Job gives to the Son of God, and this is what will carry us through our suffering.
Jesus is a witness to our suffering. He sees us and he knows us. We're not alone.
You are not alone.
He's an advocate. He stands up for us when we have no strength to stand up for ourselves. He's an intercessor who prays for us when we can't pray for ourselves. He speaks to God for us when our words have dried up. And he's our friend.
Oh, friend!
We need a friend in suffering, especially when we can be surrounded by Stoics and moralists. We have a true friend who sticks closer than a brother.
Psychologist Brené Brown describes the difference between false friends who offer sympathy and a true friend who gives us empathy.
Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people.
We know a God of connection, someone who did not remain aloof in heaven, but who plunged down into our pit. And he did it to be with us and to be for us. He suffered alongside us in our humanity, and then he suffered for us on the cross in order to offer us a glorious future beyond suffering and pain.
The God of heaven doesn't say, "Stiff upper lip." He doesn't say, "Pull your socks up." He doesn't say, "At least." He says, "Let me connect. Let me connect with you to walk with you through the valley of the shadow and out into lasting hope." If you're suffering, know that you have a witness, an advocate, an intercessor, and a friend, and he'll never let you go.
Never let go, Jack! Never let go!
Thanks for watching that episode of Thorny Questions. That was our 4th in 4 episodes about suffering. So next time we'll move on to another question. If you want us to deal with your question that you really have, that you're wrestling with about faith, life, God, the universe, everything, then let us know in the comments. We'd love to deal with that question next. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe on YouTube. Please do like us on Facebook and make some noise on social media. If you like these videos, please do share the wealth so that others can get engaged in these thorny questions. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.